What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A for real-life events returning for Pokemon TCG, so regionals and international championships. I put out some posts on Twitter, YouTube, and the Discord. By the way, join Discord. Um, Asking if people had questions about traveling to regionals, doing well at regionals, getting a Worlds invites, any general questions. And we have like 20 questions here that we're going to go over today. If you have other questions that I don't cover in the video, please ask them down below. And we'll get started after I take a sip of coffee from this PotownStore.com mug. Use code Celio for 5% off. Okay, so real quick, if you guys are new to the channel, I've been playing Pokemon TCG casually since base set and in tournaments since EX Dragon Frontiers. I've gone to Worlds 3 times. I started really competing a lot and taking Pokemon seriously around 2016, 2017. Yeah, okay. Question number one, best bang for your buck for regionals, how to pay the least amount possible, work with a budget. So this is what I've been doing all my life, for Pokemon, and especially in my, try hard competitive seasons, the few years prior to the pandemic starting. I was in, undergrad and grad school, um, living at home, no full-time job, trying to do the whole competitive Pokemon player thing. And also part of the time I was in a band and even more broke. So I know the whole budget thing. I got my 2018 Worlds invite by going to 3 regionals, 1 international championship, and a bunch of League Cups and challenges. And I didn't fly at all that season except for Worlds. I drove 10 hours to NAIC, and then regionals, I probably drove like 5 to 8 hours because I had 3 regionals within that range of me. And then I never drove more than 2 hours for a League Cup. My average drive for a League Cup's probably like 45 minutes or an hour. Um, so I did that for 2018. Then 2019, I also went to 3 regionals, NAIC, League Cups, League Challenges. I don't think I flew a single time in 2019. But that's also because, right, like NAIC was a 10-hour drive for me, so I could drive to that. Um, there were 3 regionals 8 hours or less away from me, so I could drive to those. So those are also just like my region that I'm in. Um, and then in 2020 season, or 2019-2020 season, the one that got cut in half, I attended 3 regionals. I only went to like 8 tournaments total because that's when I was in grad school, and I was just going to really try to clean up my invite in the second half of the season, which didn't happen, and it's kind of restarting now. But I went to 3 regionals, and I flew to 1, drove to 2 in the 2019-2020 season, and I have half my invite for this extended season thing. So here I have a list of suggestions for working with a budget. Room with friends, check the cheapest times and days to fly in and out, and try to line these up with the best amount of days you could take off of work or school and things like that. Go to a lot of league challenges and league cups if they're in your area, since you don't need to fly and you don't have to take off work Friday, Monday for these. Drive to regionals that are 8 hours away or less. Get a carpool, rent a minivan, something like that. It's cheaper than flying. Stay in decent hotels, but nothing crazy. Like, don't stay in a hotel where you're fearing for your life, but you also don't need like room service and sparkling water. Don't go to fancy restaurants while you're at events. You know, Taco Bell is a 5-star restaurant, so you can just go there. Don't spend money at vendors unless it's cards for your decks. Practice with proxies instead of ordering 8 different decks the day of release and then only using one of them at the tournament. Sell your higher rarities and replace them with lowest rarity. Obviously, you don't have to do all this, but that's what I've done to make it work for myself. I've never played with a high rarity card. Every time I pull it from packs or booster box, prize packs, whatever, if let's say I got a full art and that's worth 20 bucks and the regular art was worth 10, I would immediately just sell the full art for 20 and buy two regulars for 10. Or if I only needed one, just buy one regular and put the next 10 towards gas money to a League Cup or something. How do you sign up to an official event like a regional championship or an international championship? Check Pokemon's website, the Play Pokemon Twitter and Facebook groups like Burbank City. Again, you can join my Discord and feel free to ask any question. There are no stupid questions. I also have Play Pokemon News channel in there. I have helpful channels like Q&A and stuff like that, and people are always willing to help in the Discord. That's in the description down below. How long should you wait to get cards from the newest set? So personally, I wait as long as possible. I often buy many cards for my deck the morning of the tournament from vendors, but this causes unnecessary stress for some people. I just kind of go with the flow, and I'm kind of just like, it'll work out, and it always works out. I suggest buying your singles if you're going to order them prior to the tournament. I suggest buying your singles at least 10 days prior to the day that you're leaving if you're purchasing from TCG Player. Usually with TCG Player, it takes about a week to get to me, but sometimes it can be as short as 4 days. Sometimes it could be as long as like 12 days. So give yourself at least 10 days prior to the event. That way, at worst, most of your cards will come and you'll maybe have to pick up like one card. But you don't want to also, like, I don't decide the deck I'm playing until like 2 a.m. So, like, I don't really order a ton of cards. In the past, but recently I've had a little extra money to like open boxes and stuff, so I definitely have more cards at my disposal. Question number 4. What the heck do you bring to a tournament like regionals? All right. I have a list. Your deck, extra playable cards, sleeves, extra sleeves, 3 outfits for Saturday, Sunday, Monday if you're flying home Monday, 3 outfits max for like going to the event. You only need to go to the event Saturday and go to the event Sunday, and then if you need an extra outfit to fly home in, if not, you just wear whatever you slept in. I usually bring like a pair of basketball shorts and a pair of sweatpants, 3 pairs of socks, underwear, 2 pair of jeans, 2 t-shirts, maybe a long sleeve, and one jacket. um, Dice, V Star marker, Poison and Burn marker, earbuds or headphones. If you use energy drinks or eat protein bars or take like vitamin supplements or anything like that, bring those so you don't have to buy it there. Bring some snacks. If you eat candy, probably protein bars, trail mix is better. But if you're going to eat candy anyway, bring it with you so you don't have to buy it. Deodorant, reusable water bottle, preferably with a filter, and don't bring more than one like hoodie, jacket, or coat because you want to fit all of this into one suitcase. Also, I bring a backpack with. I don't think I have these. I don't think I should have prepared this, but I bring a backpack with me, just one backpack, usually just a World Championships one, and then I bring one like drawstring bag in the backpack, so I can leave my backpack in the hotel and just bring my deck dice playmat in the drawstring bag into the venue. Question number 5. How do you find a team or a group to travel with? So I found this by going to locals. I started going to locals when I was around 14 years old, and I've had friends to travel with because of this ever since. I suggest today joining Discords and finding people who have similar goals and are at a similar level to begin making friends in the community. If you don't have a locals near you, or if you don't like the people at your locals, sometimes people suck. Number 6, I would love to see the world strategy in two different ways. One, how could someone get to Worlds this year without previous points? And two, how should someone prep to qualify next season with hopefully some local stuff returning? So getting to Worlds without any previous points will be a grind, and I think if you have the time and money to travel to every regionals and go for this, you should if you want to, but also have realistic expectations. You'll need decent placements at most regionals or breakout performances at a few, and even then, you may still need some points from NAIC to clean up your invite. Having no League Cups and no League Challenges leaves a major gap in the point system, and that's fine in my opinion because this is like just a makeup half season that we need to get out of the way. The way I look at it, if I wanted to be very competitive next season and go for my invite, I would probably save my money this season and maybe go to like one cheap regionals and maybe one IC to get some experience and save most of your funds for next season when you go all out. Pick a larger online event on Play Limitless and prepare for it like you're going to a regionals and take notes on your performance. Did you regret your deck choice? Did you regret your deck list? Did you play against decks that you thought you would, or did you play against a different meta? Did you do better or worse than you thought you would? Evaluate how you do in these larger online events and use that for future tournament preparation. What are the most common beginner mistakes at big events like regionals or ICs? Taking too long and getting natural draws due to the timer, using beat up sleeves and getting penalties, playing an extra supporter for turn, shuffling when you're not supposed to, maybe something like Marnie, pile shuffling your cards into different piles after game one and game two. All it does is waste time. You could do it before game one, make sure you didn't lose any cards, but just shuffle normally between games. One I see all the time is when people care about who they're paired against. Like, oh no, I'm paired against Tord. Yeah, Tord's great. He's a great guy. He's great. He knows his way around some cartoon cardboard, right? But you've both brought decks that you're confident in, hopefully, and anyone can win a match of Pokemon trading card game. People throw games a lot against well-known players because they go into the game thinking that they should lose. Um, a big thing to work on is confidence in yourself for Pokemon TCG, in my opinion. A lot of times you see confident people win games that they never should. Are big events like regionals and ICs a healthy mix of beginners and experts, or is it mostly experts? Are most people playing meta decks? What is the most surprising matchup you've ever dealt with? From the perspective of pre-pandemic, it's definitely a healthy mix of beginners and experts. Who knows if that will change? There are people who have never been to a tournament that go to regionals. There are people whose first tournament's regionals, whether it's a friend coming along, somebody who lives close to the regional and heard about it, a significant other, a parent, a kid, whatever. There are a lot of people who go to regionals that could be your opponent that have never been to a real tournament before. I'd say around 75% of the field is meta decks, and then there's about 20% playing rogue decks or just straight up bad decks, and then account for like 5% of like theme deck tier. Like it could literally just be a pre-constructed deck right out of the box. I've played against some pretty surprising decks, especially at international championships, and I think international championships are the most varied in player skill and deck diversity because they are the largest. One that sticks out to me is the contrast of my round one and round two 2019 NAIC matches. Round one, I played against someone whose name I did not recognize, playing a Greens Gengar Mimikyu tag team Omastar deck when that was not like a thing. Round one, and then round two, I played against Burt Walters, who had recently won a regional championship, playing the same deck that he had won that regional championship with. It was such a contrast. Um, so you can play you can play against literally anything at big events. Number 9, I'm getting into the TCG at an older age. Is it still possible to get a Worlds invite eventually? Is there a way to guarantee an invite? How high do you need to place at regionals to qualify for Worlds? Are regionals are regionals generally full of meta decks? Always possible to get an invite, and you can't guarantee an invite. You technically can get an invite without going to regionals, just not this season since League Cups and Challenges haven't returned yet since the pandemic. It's completely possible to just aim for top 128s, top 256, top 64s at regionals and ICs and get your invite that way. You don't have to win a read, you don't have to top 8, you don't have to top 16, you don't even have to top 32, but of course the higher you get the better. I'd say regionals are about 75% decks that you'll see on tier lists, like on my channel, and the rest is the Wild West. Number 10, how in the world do I shuffle appropriately? Learn to riffle or mash shuffle an appropriate amount in about 1 minute. Don't spend more than 15 to 20 seconds shuffling in game between deck search when, things like that. 15 seconds probably is a good time. Number 11, should I use Elite Trainer box pieces or should I buy versions from third parties like dice counters and stuff? ETB pieces are fine. Don't spend extra money. You could also just buy dice at a game store or something. That's fine too. 12, with the speed of games, some best of 3 won quickly. I think it would be cool to do a things to do between your matches list. So I don't think you should assume matches will be ending quickly. More people are going to be tying than they think they will be. But between matches, I just put on my headphones and find a nice quiet corner. So I'm not the kind of person to ask about this. Maybe go look at vendors, walk around, get some fresh air, pee if you have to, so you don't have to pee during your match. But generally, I'm not the person to ask about this because I just put my earbuds on and find somewhere to sit. 13, can you recommend a process to use for playtesting? Play timed best out of 3 50-minute matches with a real person. So over webcam or IRL, whatever it is, play multiple of those a day leading up to regionals. Get yourself in that 50-minute best out of 3 mindset. You'll be surprised how fast the timer rings. Number 14, how do you determine whether a matchup is favored one way or another? Play it 10 times, 5 with player 1 choosing first or second, and 5 with player 2 choosing first or second. After 10 games, assess if player error was involved and what the results mean. 15. How do you determine what will be the top decks to expect for a tournament? The general player population will play decks that are proven to be good, so start with recent tournament results. Don't worry about what the top 5% of players might bring because they are not the majority of people you'll be playing against, and chances are their default deck choices are also the mainstream decks. Like, if the top players don't crack something and don't have a broken deck, they're also playing a deck that you recognize. So don't get caught up in what they're playing. Uh, you have to worry about what the general population's playing, really. Number 16, how to determine the impact of tech cards. Play the match 10 times with the tech and 10 times without the tech and see the win-loss difference and how many wins the tech card was involved in. If the tech changes the win-loss by more than 10% and you think that matchup is going to be popular, then the tech is worth considering. Number 17, besides deck selection, construction, and knowing how to play your deck well, what other skills are helpful for succeeding at events? Playing at a good pace, shuffling at a good pace, having confidence in yourself, being confident's very important. This does not mean stubborn, this does not mean arrogant, this does not mean be a jerk. It means have self-confidence. This might be something you need to explore in your life outside of Pokemon TCG. Once you gain self-awareness and self-confidence, a lot of aspects of your life will get better, but specifically Pokemon TCG, just be confident in yourself. Not letting people take back plays that have already been established. Don't be intimidated by your opponent. Like if they play a Crobat V down while Path is in play and they don't get to draw cards and they're like, oh, can I take back that Crobat? I have a stadium in my hand. No. This is a regional event. I paid hundreds of dollars for my plane ticket. I paid $60 to register. I paid a couple $100 for my deck. I've been practicing for this for months. I want to get a world invite. No, you cannot take back the Crobat V that left your hand, that you tried to draw cards for, that you can't draw cards for because of Path of the Peak or Galarian Wheezing in the active, whatever it is. Um, don't feel bad. You're playing a game. They played the card down. It left their hand. It's in play. They tried to draw cards for it. They. I see too many people letting things like that go. If you're practicing, of course, you're a butt if you're practicing with somebody or if you're playing at locals or your league and nothing's on the line. And yeah, of course, but at a regionals is different. um, Evolving a Drizzile to get Quick Ball and with shady dealings, and then the opponent shuffles the deck and they're like, "Oh, I meant to get Ultra Ball, not Quick Ball." No, like you've gotten the card, you shuffled the deck. Like just don't feel like you have to give your opponents plays back because 9 times out of 10 they're not giving you plays back, and you also shouldn't expect them to. Knowing the rules and calling the judge if you are unsure. um just it's fine to call the judge, just don't waste time. Don't be calling the judge every 5 minutes. If you're calling the judge every 5 minutes, you're either playing against a compulsive cheater And it won't matter if you're going to run out of time if your opponent's cheating that bad, like they're going to get a penalty or something, or two, you don't know the rules well enough. So don't waste time calling the judge every couple minutes if it's unnecessary. But if it's like a question that matters in the game, call the judge, or if you think something's up, call the judge. Um, and also having a good mental, like, if your round one ends in 2 minutes and you got donked twice, some people just lose it. They're like, I'm quitting the game, I never should have traveled here. Calm down, it's a trading card game, luck is an aspect. Rally back and do better round two. But on the calling the judge thing, a lot of people will try to talk you out of calling the judge, or like make you feel like you don't need a judge involved. Like, yo, we can settle this on our own. Bring in the guy sitting next to me. Hey, I wasn't cheating, right? Would I cheat? You know me. We've known each other for 8 minutes since we sat down. We have a repertoire. I wouldn't cheat. Just call the judge if you feel like a judge needs to be involved. Um, Number 18. Do you think that online events, if they still happen as frequently, will have a big impact on the IRL metagame? I think they'll be good testing grounds, and they'll still influence metagames and events while League Cups and challenges remain on the hiatus. But once players are traveling to events every weekend, and a lot of top players aren't playing in online events, even less than are now, um, online events will likely slow down and have less impact. Okay, last question. Number 19. If majority of the events get canceled for 2022, which I think this was asked before League Cups and League Challenges got canceled, will people really be getting invites unless they place very well at the few events available? Will there be an LCQ? Um, a last chance qualifier probably wouldn't make sense to me, because that's even more people that they have going into London for Worlds, when they're probably already working very hard to not have to cancel London again. I think if you're at 0 points right now and you aren't prepared to go to every single event possible, you should go to one and two to get ready, one or two to get ready and get ready for next year. This season, in my eyes, is a wash, and it's mostly for people who already had points, and we just have to close out this season and get on with our lives so we can have another full season of Pokemon. I don't see this season as an opportunity for new players really to do anything other than get their feet in the water, because like it's a mess even for people like me that have half of an invite. We haven't been to real life tournaments in over 2 years. So and that's going to be everything for me today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave additional questions down below, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.